Hey, gang. What's up, Ben? Trying to set up a couple of things. Got to get my other chat up. Audio off. Cool. All done. Time to rock. Yes. Ben, do you watch baseball? Are you a Blue Jays fan? Hey, Jimmy. Guitar talk. No idea what time it is. Michael, I love from Flint, Michigan. Fan of Motor City Guitar here. Awesome. That place is so cool. Hey, Angus. Bye, Satarucci. Oh my gosh. The the October baseball has been, this is, I think, the best year of baseball that we've had in October. It's been absolutely incredible. And now, I was telling my wife, going into Game 7. Of course, I want the Dodgers to win, but we made it to the end, so I don't really care. I'll sleep well no matter who wins. So it's been amazing, good stuff. Sorry, I apologize for my voice and my sniffles. I'll try to keep it together. I got real sick a week ago, and now I'm just trying to get my voice back together. So that's why I wasn't around last week. Um, yeah, awesome. Everybody's here. Braxel, hey man, I got to play two shows last week live. It was super fun, and so the first one was a club show or a bar show, and then the second one was a battle of the bands at my kids' high school. We had a couple of kids from his school there, and in our band, and it was super fun, just the best. So the bar show, me and my wife are driving to it, and we're like, I don't know, 5 minutes away, and I just have that epiphany. I'm like, I have so much stuff packed up. I I brought my 412, my 71 Marshall, power station, uh, pedal board version 36, and all the cables and stuff. And I literally have zero guitar picks, not a single one. Um, and I prefer playing jazz threes these days, and specifically the Eric Johnson jazz threes. So it's not just like, oh, here's a Fender medium. So I had my son put some in the mailbox for a friend to come and swing by. And then I remember that our keyboard player, his son, plays, and he's a total guitar head. And so he brought me like a handful of picks. Take whatever you like. So yeah, that's dumb. So now I keep a bag of picks in my gig bag as a always on picks. So then Saturday, again, I use the same rig, but I went to pedal board revision 37 because I swapped a couple things out. And then I'm setting up, and I realized that I took out the two power amp speaker cables, the one from the Marshall to the power station and the power station to the cab. Took them out. So I'm texting Dave Friedman. I'm like, so Dave, how bad is it if I use just a guitar cable out of the head? He's texts back. He's like, it's bad. No, so terrible. But then one of my son's friends, he had a like a toolbox like a mobile, like a, what do they call them? Toolbox, yeah, old school toolbox. And he's like, I have a couple. And thankfully, he had a couple power cables. I call them power cables, but they're speaker cables, I guess is the word. And so the question to some of you guys is like, do you have a almost like a travel case that's always filled, like a separate thing? I think I have to get specific. Like these are my travel speaker cables, and these are the travel pedal board cables. Because I swap them out, and then I put them back in the studio, and then I take them out again. And it's just clearly there's too many things for me to remember to bring. Really, ding dong move, and I lucked out both times. Um, oh, so and then well, I'll pause for the super chat and I'll get back to it. No, I'll finish the story, but I'll leave this up so I don't forget. Um, yeah, the show Thursday was awesome, and it reinforced my thought that absolutely there's no alternative to a 412 on stage. Um, it just like for me, even hearing myself, I had really great response from people I respect in the audience that were like, "Oh, that sounded like a record. That was like great guitar tone." Um, but for me, hearing myself, it was so nice, and I wasn't fighting it, and it didn't sound narrow and tiny and all of that. Uh, Now I'm trying to figure out a way to get a second 412 on the stage, but I don't think that's possible in most of the sizes that I'm doing. I would love to have a stereo still. I don't know. I still would love to have stereo, but I don't know if that's going to be possible. And then on Saturday, the Battle of the Bands, a couple days before, my wife tells me, excuse me, here we go. This is what it's going to be like. Let me, how do I pause the sound here so I could cough? And the back. Now I just have to remember to turn that back on. So my wife tells me that Steve Lukather is going to be the judge of the Battle of the Bands. So, I'm sitting here playing my solo in front of Steve Lukather, and I've stolen half of his licks. Um, so I'm glad she told me ahead of time because I would have just crumbled on the spot, I'm sure. There's another guitar player, this guy Chris, who's super nice. We had a great time. He looks like he's like 25 or so. Really great player, kind of like um, they had a really good modern um, rock band in a classic sort of like Guns N' Roses sort of sense. Um, he didn't know that Steve Lukather was going to be the judge. So he said he set up his stuff, and he turned around and he's like starts to get into the first song, and he's like, "It's Steve Lukather," and he couldn't feel his hands after that. But Lukather was just so generous and sweet, and he's the best. So amazing. Angus Clark has a checklist. Yes, a checklist is a good idea. I'm gonna make a checklist. Checklist. Always, and Ben says I always carried an accessory case with spare items. Good one. Good one. So Cole, hey, thank you so much for the super chat. Appreciate it. My hat always looks crooked. It's comfortable this way, which makes it crooked on my head. And it's less comfortable when it's straight. Oh, that feedback. Anyway, so apologize for crooked head. Hmm. Do you mind telling me your response about the Yamaha SBGs you responded to a couple weeks ago? The great new experience. Yes, so sorry about that. Oh my God. Um, I'm really gonna try to do better. Um, Yamaha SPGs. They're like Les Paul double cutaway um, things. So I think I do kind of remember what I was saying. Even I think Yamaha guitars are great and super underrated. A good friend of mine has it's an SA 2100, which is essentially their 335. I used to borrow when I was in bands in my 20s, and it was a revelation. It was so good. And then every Yamaha guitar, my first guitar was a Yamaha. It was like a Strat copy kind of thing with their version of a Floyd. But every guitar I played after that that I picked up was like they was like super solid. They just don't seem to do like the right marketing. They don't like lay into the marketing, or at least in the States. Maybe they are internationally. Um, I have never tried a SPG. I don't know if I think they look cool. It looks like a old, I don't know, like a Carlos Santana, I think maybe played a Gibson-ish version of that. So it just kind of reminds me of that. So I don't know. I dig it though. Um, and I've seen folks floating around with them lately, and they sound great. So yeah, I don't have any hands-on experience though with it, but I would rest assured that I'd have no problem getting one if I was like really loving the way it looks. Back to the hot tips. Altoids, an Altoid tin full of picks. I have one of those at home that I didn't bring with me, you know. Yep, every time I pick up 412, I worry about that. I'm like, well, is this the time that my back is going to go out? But 2025 has been the year of me getting off my butt and walking and running and hitting the weights and stuff like that. So actually having a little bit of strength gives me a little more confidence in that, which feels nice. Um, go back through a couple of these. Gotta say, guys, I have some really cool gear here that I'm not even sure I'm allowed to hint what they are, but I have a feeling January is going to be a really expensive month for uh, us guitar heads. There is some great stuff coming out. Thank you. Yeah, I've been, and I saw Michael Torrens here. Hey, Mike. Um, Michael Torrin very patiently has loaned me his Naylor Superdrive 60 for like a year, maybe more. Um, and I kept trying to do a video for it, and it's a special amp, and it's like the unsung hero of the '90s. So I kept wanting to do something good, and then sometimes I'd be like, it's an interesting amp because sometimes it would sound amazing, and then other times I'd plug in and be like, it's not like hitting for me. Not that it's breaking or anything, it's just it's a tricky amp. And then I actually saw Tim Pierce's settings, and his was like mids, like 10, treble 10, presence 10. And once I kind of got there, it was more consistent. I was able to find that sound. Excuse me. Sorry, guys. Oh, now I have a hotkey for that. I just have to remember to turn it on. Command D. Here I'm up. And I'm back. Okay. So uh so yeah, that once I got like that nailer kind of dialed in, it's really fun to play through. And I made ToneX pack of that. Um Captures some of that glory, but it's such a harmonically rich amp. Um I mean, if you love Naylor, I don't know if there's any other alternative than getting Nailer. Man, their website is like 25 years old. I know they're still making them though. But oy, oy, oy. Yeah, I think it should be fine. I think it's fine. 7 years isn't a long time. I've had things in the garage for 5 years and stuff. It should be totally good. After all the preamps and heads I've demonstrated, what's my favorite? Oh, it's so hard to say, but things that just I keep going back to. Uh, there's certain preamps I love. I actually used my CAE 3 Plus the other day, and totally enjoyed that. It's great. Still love the Bogner Fish, Soldano X88, 88 MP1, the Marshall JMP1. I think these are classics that just don't go away. My Friedman, the Dirty Shirley Mini, 20 watt is always great. My B100, every time I plug it in, I'm like, yeah, that's great. The 71 Marshall, my old Princeton in the 60s. Uh, yeah, kind of a good Bogner Ecstasy. Super awesome. Really hard to narrow down what would be my favorite. Geez, really enjoy pedals these days too. Yes, yes, and in my experience, I would say yes and no. I thought the Super Drive actually was easier to just quickly dial in and go like, yeah, we're off to the races. But the Nailer was more harmonically swirly. I heard one of the channels it was the Rev channel, Scrungy. It has more scrunge to it. Oh, and in terms of my comment, no, not all from boutique. Um, bad means boutique amp distribution, if anyone doesn't know. No, not all from boutique. Maybe some Bogner. Right. Sometimes people very generously, they're like, oh, I have an amp being repaired in LA and you're welcome to you could check it out and demo it. I'm like, oh, you don't understand. It's like it's not a short process. It's quite a long process. Um, I mean, sometimes something could come in and I'll instantly go like, cool, here's a song idea and I'm good to go. And then my schedule is open so I could do something and have the energy to do it and the wherewithal to do it. But sometimes I'm just burned out and just like, I well that okay. So that said, I did that nailer and I still have Michael Torin's Langner preamp. I did one before, but he got a new one that does sound better. So I have his Langner that's been on my desk, and I have a song written for it already. And it's just every time I go to do it, something comes up and I can't do it. And I have his Diesel VH4, which was Tim Pierce's VH4, which sounds amazing. That is the best sounding VH4 I've ever heard. And I have the riff written for that, but it's like every time I sit down to do it, something comes up and I can't get it done. No blimps and pigeons today. In the little sister, higher gain kind of depends on how higher gain you're talking. Um, I'm gonna say you're thinking high gain. So I like the Soldano SLO pedal. I like um, the Rev stuff. Um, the Rev stuff is great for high gain. It's well, it's interesting because it's kind of more like a rhythm tone. You could of course play leads in it, but feel wise to me, it feels more like a rhythm tone. Um, the way the sustain works and stuff, and the tightness, the response. But I would check out the Friedman small box pedal, which might not be high gain enough for you. The Soldano pedal, or any of the Rev pedals. I did hear that. I think that would be really cool. That would be that would be quite cool. I mean, he's already using the synergy stuff. He's at a level where you can. He's achieved the George Lynch level, where you can be an endorser of one product, but also use another product, and then use them both, and endorse another product, and endorse another product. So it's totally fair game, and they're all if he uses everything, it's cool. It's not like the old days where you're like, I have one amp and I only use one amp and one guitar. Anyway, that's not how Mark Tremonti and George Lynch roll. Oh, dude! Speaking of which, so on the Thursday, the bar gig. This is the brewery. I mean, behind us is like giant those vats, the shiny metal vats and stuff, and they have the stage in front of it. It looks like pretty cool. I turn on my Marshall, and all the power from the house go down, which is terrible because my Marshall just like someone plugged it out of the wall. It's like, oh, let's turn it all off. They go break the breaker and come back. They're like, okay, we're good now. We're good now. Okay. Like I turn on my Marshall again. The house goes down again. I'm like, oh no. Uh, I had my backup plan is I had an HX stomp and I just run that into the power station that I was using for the Marshall anyway. So yeah, power down twice. So they ended up running like this huge extension cable to some other side of the building for my amp. I think that's the didn't think it was like that crazy. But oh, and then they're like, all right, how about this? Don't turn on any amps until 6:30. All right. We got through it though. And it didn't go down, and I was able to use it. So very happy. Um, very happy. Still use the VHX. No, but not because I don't like it. I was borrowing it from Avi at Boutique. It was his, and I had that for like a year and a half, and it's great. But the reason I gave it back is one is the diesel sound to me is a specific sound. Like it's very not 80s and it's sort of not 90s. It could do either, but it's like 2000s and beyond. Like it's post dual rectifier. Um, I know that's getting nerdy and specific, but you know, uh, so like if I'm mostly playing cover bands and stuff, so I'm just kind of leaning into the more specific era appropriate things. And then furthermore is the effects in it sound very good, but you have to program it and then you're set. You can't really touch it as it goes. So this is a bit of a con. I mean, the pro is that you take the head and you're like, that's it. MIDI pedal and the head, my whole set is programmed and it's great. But if you're on the fly, you're like, oh, I want a little more delay. It's hard to turn around and go like scene, scooch, delay, save, back. It's just too small. of an interface to do that, as opposed to reaching down and going pedal, done. Um, so yeah, that's the only reason. But it's a great head and it's so versatile. I like that a lot. Thank you, Passion for Tone. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, dude, I totally forgot. Thank you, Ben. The LPD 87 is great. So it's the LPD 87, it's the blue, it's like seafoam blue one, seafoam green. And high gain side is essentially based on a Jose mod. And yeah, I used that. I mean, that was on the board, so it's great. Also, great. I do have a dying IR of the Steve Vai 412 cab, and that is in what did they end up naming that pack? The Hidden Gem. So it's on the TwoNotes. It's in the TwoNotes store, and the bundle is called the Hidden Gem. Uh, and the cab is funny because Michael Torn has it now. He's kindly the curator of it. Um, it's hard to use because it's on its last leg. Like if you tilt it, it goes almost. It just does not feel sturdy, and you can't really take it to a gig because it would just be destroyed, and I don't want it destroyed. Um, so it has vintage 30 in it, but then I swapped out for like a greenback and another one. So there's a couple varieties of speakers in it. Um, the original speakers are probably the most quirky of the bunch and are kind of having a real forward mid-range, warm top, lean bottom. But they're fun because they're Steve Vai's. Uh, but I think the ones that I swapped out, like the greenback for and stuff, sound uh, better. But it's still in the Steve Vai cab, so again, that puts a smile on my face. But they're on the store. Thank you. Yeah, the new one is. I mean, my room is so small, and there are certain corners of it that are not organized. So one day, if I'm able to organize it and it looks respectable, there's really not much to tour. It's like here's a door, and this side and this side, and what you see is 80% of it. The rest is not that exciting, but I think I showed it in something. Well, if I can't remember, then probably hard to find. But yeah, I'm sure I'll do that one day. Oh yeah, the so I got a Fender Strat Plus from 87, 88. Um, I think the pickup said 87, but the neck says 88. And the candy apple reds, like sparkly. It's a little darker than like a normal candy apple red, but lovely with the Wilkinson roller nut at the top. The frets were pretty beat up, so I had it refretted recently, which is kind of like the standard placement frets. And sounds great. They are the lace sensors, and it's all silver. You know, the lace sensors, they had like the lace gold, silver, red, and something. And the tone knob is, I think, called the TBX thing. So if you go halfway, there's a detent on the tone knob, and that's tone knob. And then past that, sort of adds like a mid range, but they're passive. They're not active pickups, but they do have a lot of like EMG vibe, and they don't have that glassy super high end that like a 60s, 50s, 60s Strat would have. They're they're fat and balanced. Not quite a humbucker, but also like they don't scream out single coil or they're warm single coil. Not far off from like an EMG SA, but they are their own thing. And I like that guitar a lot. It's really cool. Still trying to get the setup on it perfect, but you know, I like that a lot. Hi, buddy. I'm looking forward to Dave Friedman coming out with a full preamp. Me too. I think that would be cool. Hello, Mark Kazansky. How you doing, buddy? Such gold. 80s DBX 166 versus 160A. The 166 is way cheaper secondhand. Is the 160A that much better for Huff Landau rack tones? It's hard to say better or worse because the difference between a 160A and a 160X is subtle, but there is a difference. And then there's a difference between the 166. So all of those are kind of like almost utility. I mean, they have a tone to them, but they're not super tone shapy. It really helps to have an EQ involved if you're going to compress really hard. Which in some ways, like the pedals, like the Wampler Ego 76, like the full one has a tone knob, or the JHS um, orange pulp and peel also has a tone knob and a blend knob. It's a kind of a better way of doing it. But I would say after that, like the DBXs are great and they're authentic to that specific era and that sound. And any DBX is going to get you in the ballpark. They're going to be really close. So I don't think the price is really a big deal. If you're happy seeing a 166 in your rack, then do that. But if you have to see that single rack space, one channel, 160, then you know you got to do what you got to do. On that album, it's either the Soldanos or the 5150s. I can't remember if they were out yet, but it definitely does not sound like his Marshall at that point. Live Without a Net was the Marshall. That's my favorite Eddie tone. It's just perfection. It's got the stereo thing, but not overdone. Like the records are so um, digital, which they are their own thing too. I love those records, but the perfect blend of like pre, like 74 to 84, and then the later era, it's like comes right in that Live Without a Net. It's amazing. Yeah, I've played a couple of Splons. They're really good. Kind of like a Friedman, but a little like I would say smoother but sharper. Like a smoother mid range, a sharper, like nice fast attack, and maybe a leaner bottom end is how I heard it. Um, but they're really good. Still in that Jose family of tone, the Friedmans and um, Head First. I don't know if they're still making new amps. What's a Big Max? Diesel Big Max. I haven't seen this. 50-watt head, 45-watt head, single channel, old school. featuring several channels. Huh. I don't know. I don't know this one at all. Looks pretty cool. With a JL 20. Well, I'll tell you 100%, even having not heard the Big Macs, they're going to be so polar opposite. The diesel is going to be slower on the attack, thick, not that extended bright top end, and the JL is fast and uh, bright and crunchy. Diesel is going to be thick and scrungy. So you got to just kind of the JL 20 would be hard to get the diesel tone out of, and the diesel would be hard to get the JL 20 tone. So kind of look whatever direction you want to go there. I'm sure that those sounded killer. I had an early VH4 that I used for ages, and I used it so much. I was like, so sick of just using the same. I only had one amp at the time. I had that. Like, it's always just so good and it's so easy. I'm like, let me get something else just to mix it up. And I sold it. I shouldn't have sold it. I should have just kept it. Stupid. But they also, that was a time when like the market had gone down of amps and it was like 2,500 bucks. I'm like, all right, I'll sell it for 2,500 bucks. Now there it's back up and you can't. What's up with the Synergy Plexi and 800 modules versus the Marshall ones? I know Marshall made theirs, but who made the Plexi and 800? Which amps are they based on? What they're based on is kind of just the generic thing. When Synergy Platform was originally a Bruce Egnater design, and Bruce sold it to Randall. Randall made it for a while, kind of went down from there because they changed out parts and stuff. The Bruce stuff, the Egnater stuff is really well done. Um, and then when Synergy came along, Boutique bought it and they committed resources to it, and they got Steve Fryatt, Bruce Egnater, Dave Friedman, and their in-house engineers all to like just look and like, how can we make this as good as it can be? Make this the best. And so they all went at it and improved everything they needed to improve and did it the right way. And so the Synergy one, I believe, is the best iteration of it. And when that came out, they like the non-specific models, like the Plexi and the 800, were, I think those were probably designed by Dave Friedman. Um, he'll tell you if you ask him, but I'm 90% sure they were. And if they weren't, they were uh, Bruce Egnater, which is pretty good too. Um, So yeah, I would assume that those were Dave's designs, but what's different than the Marshall ones, because they'll no longer make the Plexi one because now Marshall has the JMP, so that it, just it's a smart branding, They had a generic Plexi and then Marshall came around, they're like, okay, well, we're not going to do ours, we'll do the Marshall ones. Um Again, they improved it again so that the modules have a phase inverter circuit, like it's a 0 watt power amp. So the feel is better, or it's improved because there's just an extra layer of shrinking the entire amp down rather than it just being a good preamp, which those modules are really good. But now there's a good preamp, and then the way that like vintage amps get their gain like isn't always just in the preamp. Sometimes it's how it distorts like through the phase inverter and things like that. So Yeah, they have the 0 watt power amp to get sort of more back end drive, and so they're able to tweak it that way. But always like Dave's always around and stuff, so like they run stuff by Dave. Like the modules don't come out, and it's just like, here it is. I hope it's good. I hear. I think at this point, I kind of hear everything that Synergy does before it comes out too, and they're very generous with how they that maybe that's not the right word. Um, like they've taken me in as like trusting my opinion, which is very I appreciate that because I feel in some ways like I'm an everyman and I'm like, why would you do it this way? Like just do it this other way. It's just this is what we want. Um, and then you have Dave who knows everything about amps and stuff. So and most of the time I'm really in alignment with Dave. It's always funny when I'll give feedback and then they're like, yeah, that's what Dave said. Like, oh, well, good. And I've been doing it long enough now from the inside with people not listening and taking my feedback that it's really nice that someone listens because I don't know, I think I'm usually right. When I sit there and try and demo, and if I have an amp and I'm like, this is taking me so long to try and get a good sound, I'm like, well, it shouldn't. At this point, no amp should be hard to get a good sound out of. They have the recipes figured out, right? It's unacceptable to go to a restaurant and have a bad meal because you just know how to good. Everyone knows how to make good food now. Just put it on the internet. Like some kid will show you how to make a Michelin star meal. Same with amps. So anyway, Boutique has a awesome sort of group of feedbacker givers, and I think that's partly why everything sounds great when it comes out. Of course, Marshall signs off on it, and they have a whole bunch of people that check it out and test it and give their feedback. But uh, the new modules are really good. Yeah, that my R8 Gibson R8 with the Lawler pickups. That's your favorite. Thank you. Oh, you got one too. Awesome. And with the Lawlers, yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, I just again, it's like that. I've been using that for before I started the channel. So the channel's 10 years old. I've been using that guitar for 15 years or so, maybe longer, maybe 20. And it was just like, so I kind of put it in the other room for a while. Like I just haven't been using it. I did pull it out the other day and it was like, oh, this guitar is so good. It's so good. My illustrious career sitting in a box making music. Excuse me one second. I'm going to just scooch over here for a minute. Uh, yeah, so I went to UCLA. I never studied any music, unfortunately. I was studying history, but I met a guy named Brian Tyler. We were quickly became fast friends, and he has brilliant musician, played everything, and he liked the way I played guitar. So we started a band, and he wanted to score films. His grandfather has Oscars and stuff, and he ended up scoring films. He did Avengers and Fast and Furious and Yellowstone and that. But in this when we were kids in this journey, he understood like you decide what you're going to do and then you go after it. And I hadn't really understood that. It's like whoa, that was kind of game changing for me. So we started that journey together, and then his film scoring stuff started taking off, And that was one of the real important things for me to go like, oh, that's cool. I could do that too. Um, but as he went that way, then I was like, you know what? I'm going to go start my own music production company, giving you the most abridged fast track version of this I can give you. Um, so then I started a music production company with a couple guys that I was doing a band with that was sort of in the like the Lenny Kravitz-ish soul and rock world. Singer was amazing. I was probably not ready for it. I was good, but I didn't live in that world, and so I was kind of like, I could play like that, but I wasn't it wasn't my I didn't naturally play in that. So I think that comes across. Our drummer was amazing. His name is Fred Eltringham, and he's like top 2 or 3 drummers in Nashville now, with Dixie Chicks and anyone else. He's like the Tom Bukovac of drummers. Our bass player was amazing. He played with Michael Jackson and uh, Stevie Nicks. So the band was really good. We were killing, and I learned so much playing with such great players. But we never had any hits or got a record deal, but we did get some songs on the movie soundtracks and stuff like that. And then same with my music production stuff. I never had any hits. We were doing pop music, writing and producing pop music. Never had hits, but I kept licensing music into TV shows and soundtracks and stuff. And I was like, oh, I'm better at that. And that's a way to make money. So I just started writing music to get licensed into to film and TV. And once I started doing that, I stopped with the bands and I stopped with the pop music stuff. Um, I just started doing scoring, and they're like, you're gonna do full orchestra on this, right?" And I was like, "Yes." Not knowing how to write for orchestra, but then quickly I'm like, "All right, here's a book, and go to the Hollywood Bowl and listen to the orchestra." And yeah, so just dove into that. And then, I did a couple other production stuff. Like I did Selena Gomez. I wrote her first single and um, produced uh, a movie the soundtrack for a movie it was a musical. So did all the songs with her. Um, and then I did on the music production side work with Barry Manilow. I've done a couple songs with him, who's just such a genius. Kenny Loggins, genius. Um, what am I missing? The Baumen after who let the dogs out, unfortunately. So like that stuff, I'll be at Disneyland and I'll be like, oh, I did this because they play their stuff over there, and sometimes when you're walking around. And then I got into writing music for movie trailers because my music tended to be more like badass and cinematic. And I had some exec once tell me, he's like, it's something about your songs always reminds me of Top Gun. And I was like, well, yes, because that's awesome, right? He goes, yeah, yeah, it's awesome. But it's not like Britney Spears awesome. It's Top Gun awesome. So I was just kind of more cut out for that stuff. Um, so from there, uh, I started scoring video games, and I did like Splinter Cell and a bunch of the Forza Motorsports and a bunch of movie video games and stuff. And they used to really do the top movie tie-ins, and scored big orchestra stuff for like the X-Men, Wolverine and the X-Men cartoons, and bunch of commercials and stuff. Yeah, very busy run. And then I have a company that does movie trailers exclusively. Essentially, we do commercials for like NBA and Nike and stuff like that too. But so me and the company is basically 3 guys: me, another writer, and then our interfacer with the clients and does the business side. So Me and Casey, we wrote everything for 20 years. So I write every day. I'd be writing. Just that's all I do. Write and produce for like 20 years. Which is why in my videos, like I understand my strength is the opening song. That's what I'm good at, really good at. Playing a cappella guitar is something I really don't practice and never really just don't really care about. I love it when it's like Josh Smith and Andy Woods and Andy Timmons, and when they play a cappella, it's like that's incredible. That's amazing. But it's just not how I think about guitar. So I know my a cappella stuff is kind of like blues lick one, blues lick two, AC/DC riff. Um, you know, and I'm much more elegant in the song stuff, and I play so much better. Actually, a friend of mine had just told me, it's kind of a newer friend, but brilliant guitar player. Um, he's like, I don't take this the wrong way. Please take it the right way. He's like, I just heard like your record, and you're a much better guitar player than I thought you were from your demo stuff. I'm like, well, yeah, it's just where my strength is. Anyway, that's there's a point with scoring trailers that I put in guitar, and then my clients would just be like, "It's awesome, perfect, done. Just take out the guitar and send it over." And so, 10 years ago, I was like, well, I watched Phil McKnight and I watched Fluff and Pete Thorne. I was like, this is really cool. I want to play guitar. So that's why those three guys are kind of what prompted me to start doing it. And I'm friends with all of them now, so which is quite cool. So yeah, and then here we are. Sorry, long story. Still have that black Ibanez RG I wanted. Do I want to sell to you? One, you wouldn't want it. It definitely needs new frets and some cleanup and stuff. But no, that's I mean, my first guitar was this Yamaha RG something. I think it was called an RG. I had it for like a couple months. And then every time I pulled the whammy bar up, it just wouldn't go down. We couldn't figure. I even took it to Guitar Center. They're like, "That's so weird." So then they had a sale on Strats with a Floyd Rose, and I was like, "That's the one I need." It was a gold flake shimmer thing, but they were true single coil pickups. So it's like it was a mess. It was so loud. So that lasted another 6 months. And I worked all summer to buy that Ibanez RG 760. So that's my first guitar, and I had that for years. So that's I can never sell that one. Thank you so much. So, okay. So here's the second. So I haven't really released the first one. So I put it out. I Last year I wrote an album and I made an album, and I think it's really good. And it's I needed to because I needed to work on that for myself. And then I was like, ooh, I don't know how to put out an album. So it's like on my website for sale, complete with like all backing tracks, stems, tabs. I tabbed everything, tabbed out every note. The whole works, and it's a little expensive because it's like uh, I got live drummer Aaron Sterling, the best drummer in maybe the world, to play on it, and so I did everything else. Um, but now I was like, oh, how do I put it out? So I'm either gonna do, I'm not sure. Either I just throw it up on all the streaming services and put my hands up and go like, no, it is what it is, or I'm gonna put it on like a CD Baby kind of thing. Um, but I kept wanting to have a time where I could sort of relearn the songs and then like play them and promote them and maybe go visit some other channels and stuff. But I just don't have. I can't find that in the schedule to ever do that. And there's not enough kind of to gain, if that makes any sense. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. But like, all right, so if I have an album and I go visit a ton of people and like, look, all these people have bought the album. Like, sweet, I made $80. Like, I spent $1,200 traveling the country, visiting people in hotels and stuff, and I made $80, or I lost $300 on this whole venture. So I don't know. It kind of was for me, but yeah, I'm trying to get it out this year. Phil McKnight has been so kind, and he's like, "You've got to get that album." He's been telling me for months, and he always has a good plan. He's such a crazy intelligent guy, um, and I always like, yes. I just don't have the time to do it. I work all full time, and then still try to make videos, so it doesn't leave a lot of extra time. I don't know. LPD pedals, so good. Check out LPD pedals, the best drives. All right, we got going on like an hour. I'll probably wrap it up in a little bit because I have just trying to keep my head together here. Okay. How much are you playing out of your monitors or just cabs when I'm not working? It's almost always the cab. I play unplugged a lot. Oh, there's this new product. Um, I just got it. That is the headphone alternative for just guitar, sitting on the couch, metronome, playback track, amazing tone, not pretty good tone. Like, I think next week that comes out. I haven't made the video for it, but it's coming out. So that's really great. Um, and it's like $100. So it's great. Um, I do play through the monitors. I guess sometimes I'll have the load box and play through the monitors, but pure satisfaction wise, just I'll have it low in the 412, and it's so much bigger. Uh, it's really big. It's just kind of nice. Um, you know, IntelliFX versus a G major, or save up for the MPX1. Uh, the IntelliFX is great. I mean, they're all great. The IntelliFX reverbs don't sound like Lexicon reverbs, but the pitch effects and the delay are great. So like chorus delay, pitch, fantastic. TC are really good. The G major, I'd say like it's kind of in between everything. It's the least flavorful in my opinion, but doesn't mean it's bad. It's just it's like, yep, everything is good. And then the Lexicon's really solid. If you can save up for a PCM 81, would do that. Um, However, if anyone says like, "Hey, I want a great just one rack piece," the IntelliFX is kind of one that I recommend. I think it's really great and pretty easy to program. It's not like these days easy, but like for the era, it's pretty easy. You can still get around. Lexicon stuff to program is just like forget it. Forget it. This is a two-parter to read this carefully. 25th birthday. So Flip, happy 25th birthday, man. That's awesome. Well, and a 2008, I see. Oh, you buy an off the rack MAV. What's an MAV? Wait until the use one's popular. Uh, and then part two, you just got. Okay, maybe you rephrased it. The second amp I've been listening to Jubilee. Would you go use? Um, well, you know what? I haven't AB'd a vintage Silver Jubilee, but I had a newer one, and it was great. I don't think that's a circuit that's so has to be vintage. Um, it's a really cool circuit. So I would go with a new one. Or sorry, I meant a newer one and go used. That's great. The only thing that happened is when I had mine, I put it initially onto the Joe Bonamassa settings, which is like full blast, and the tubes instantly went beep. So I had to have it retubed instantly. But once I got it together, it sounded great. Yes. Yeah. Two things that do it for me is one, getting out of the house that will fix it. Like, go see a musical because they're so well written. They have to be to get to where they're at. Where there's 100 people working on it every day, and um, so go see a musical. The music is going to be unbelievable, even if it's not like your style. It's like so melodies and chords, just you can't help it, and there'll be an emotional component to it as well that just like will slap you in the face, and it's almost hard not to leave with melodies and things going through your head. Um, Sometimes happens with a good movie. Similarly, not always, because there's sometimes less musicy based, but sometimes I'll feel really inspired there. But just getting out of the house really, really helps. And then sometimes I go back and just go listen to Bach. Spend a day and listen to Bach because it's sort of like going to a chiropractor. It's the building blocks of everything, and you just you listen to uh, just sit and absorb it. And if there's a piece you like, just put it on repeat. And it's just like this is how you put notes together and arpeggios and how you move from one chord to the next. And then it'll sink in and then steal it. Go, cool. I'm gonna take this two chord movement and recreate that. Uh, and then lastly, like just recreate something that you like literally just do a one-to-one cover of it as best you can. And usually that will like unlock something. And then once you finish that, mute everything except the drums and then write something different to it uh, and see what you come up with. Because there have been times where, like, if I'm on a video game, uh, there's a schedule and they're like, all right, well, you have to write three pieces that are 3 minutes each every week for the next 9 weeks. It's like, okay, there's no time to not do it. Or, I get a call and they're like, great, we need this at 6 o'clock today. There's no time to, to not be able to write something. So you have to dig somewhere and find something to get it moving. Those are kind of ideas that I've had. And if I have to immediately do it, then it's like sometimes all you need is to that change one chord to another chord. And you go, okay, that got the wheels moving. Yeah, I've only tried a wizard once. Thought there it was great. But I don't have a lot of experience with them. By all accounts, they're super killer. Hey Mario. Yeah, I'm trying to get a PV Vanberg. Trying to get it. I'm reaching out to PV because they have their Rockmaster preamp pedal. It's just like, come on, just gotta get in touch. Uh, I would say start with not using the compressor. Start with the compressor out of the loop, basically. Like set minimum compression, highest threshold, so it's not doing anything. So you're just dealing with the levels of the chorus and the micro pitch. If you need the compressor, you can put it in later. But if that's happening too, it's just too many things at once to try and dial in. It's about 3 to 5 synergy modules. The number one is the Imperial. Okay, let's go the cleaner side. The Imperial, the Bassman, and the Dr. Z are my favorites on the cleaner side. So like Dr. Z is like an AC30. The Imperial is like a great blackface Fender, and the Bassman is like tweed. So that's super cool. Hmm. On the dirty side, the Friedman BE Deluxe is awesome. Killer Cali's really good. Killer Cali just wants to be heavy. It's like great for that. The BE Deluxe is more functional. So the BE Deluxe and the Marshall JMP are kind of really like, which shade do you want of that? Um, they're in the same family. They don't sound the same, but they're kind of like you would have to decide which direction you want to go with that. I really like the Diesel VH4, Solvano, the Vi. Yeah, yeah. I would say right now, and most recently, like my Sin 20 only takes one module. It has the Imperial in it almost all the time, and when it doesn't, it has the Marshall JMP module in it. Um, and yeah, if I had like a two module head, it would probably be those two. It's just where I'm at in my headspace right now. Each phaser for an amp on the E50. Have you tried a different power supply? It seems like that would be a power supply thing. Yeah, I think Washburn's done with electric guitars. I think for a while they have been farming out their electric guitars anyway. So they don't make them, they just farm them out. And they'll just make their acoustic guitars. Curious about those Nuno ones. I'm not gonna not in any hurry to race out and get one. Think they look cool. I'd say like 90% of my guitar and amp impulse buying and stuff is related to um, nostalgia in some way. So I feel like it's brilliant that boutique amp distribution has like Soldano under the line because if another company, and there's several companies that have sort of made their voice like it's based on the Soldano SLO 100. Uh, And if it's better, whatever that means, but if it's better, like I still want the Soldano because I want the Soldano brand. You know what I'm saying? Like Diesel was in my psyche as a younger person. Bogner is huge for me because Bogner was like the first amp rock star, you know. Um, so yeah, really hard for new amp brands for me and guitar brands to go like the Nuno one. Like if it was Washburn, I was kind of interested, but if it's a Nuno one, yeah, well, I don't know. New album's good, but it's not pornography. That's just me. Whatever. Mm, well, okay, here we go. I mean, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Like, I would have to go 90s Recto because it's in Mason Boogie. But that said, I love Rev and I love what they do. Also, if you are mostly a rhythm player, I say go Recto. But if you're 50-50 lead and rhythm or mostly like a lead rhythm, like let's be real, it's like because if you're not in a band, you might be 90% lead player because that's all you do is play leads all day long and stuff. I would 100% go with the Rev because playing leads on the rectifier to me don't feel that great. Rhythms on the rector are awesome, and the generator is sort of clean too, but it do things, but great. Yeah, I don't have that. I reached out to Synergy and they're gonna get me all of their modules and I'm gonna go through all of them. I'm gonna make a YouTube short for every module, um, so that I could sh- show myself. It's all selfish. It's all so I can show myself what's the ones I like for this, and this, this, and this. But I could also share it with you guys. You know, uh, some kind of. I know they have the Dumble module, but I didn't. That didn't knock me out. Like a killer Dumble-ish module would be great. Um, I want more modules with cool faceplates. Uh, I want another like a Friedman module, like the BE 100 Deluxe, but with then a clean channel instead of two dirty channels. They used to make one, but I want I want a new Friedman one with the 0 watt phase inverter power amp stuff and all that. Where did I go here? Missed this. Class D power pedals. What do I know about them? Class D can be good and usable. Uh, there's just it depends. So like the Duncan Power Stage, it's fine until you AB it. Then you go, oh, maybe you need to keep this thing, and you end up fighting like, and then at some point you go like, well, why am I using this instead of that? But there's weight considerations and size considerations and things like that. So if I don't know, I have a Class D power amp powering some studio monitors, and that sounds great because it's kind of linear. But the guitar is its own thing. So you know, and then if you're talking about the little ones, and depends on how quiet. If you're playing really quiet and you're in your room, they're totally good. But once you have a band going, some things just it's hard to hear until the band is going, and then you end up fighting it. And I find that with digital products too. It's like it sounds great until the band kicks in. And you're like, why am I not cutting through, man? Yeah, that's dirty Nielsen. I would love to have an ADA MP1 Synergy preamp, but you could still buy an ADA MP1 for like $300, so I'm not sure they'll do that. And we have a preamp plus VHT power pack 52. Add one or two IRs maybe. Are you saying like just the VHT power amp with the IR? Can you clarify what you mean? Not really sure. I'm getting there. Not quite. A couple things. The Les Paul, when I go up to tap, I flip the pickups to the neck. And then that made me think, like, I wonder if that's why Eddie on his guitars had the pickup selector switched. So up is bridge. So when he goes up to tap, he wouldn't knock it down. Um, I You have to guess that's why he did that. And then hey, and then if I put the strap up higher, I can play great, but I look dorkier. So I want to keep pushing the guitar lower, and it's kind of more comfortable to play rhythms. But then some of the lead stuff, that's a little tricky. Um, so yeah, it's a real trade-off. It's like the higher the guitar, the harder it is to look cool, but the easier it is to play. Lower the guitar, the harder it is to play, but the easier it is to look cool. I don't know. Angus, do you practice standing up? Like, or it's just natural to you? You know what? I have a Rocktron Piranha in my rack that I've never turned on. I ordered it to make a video, to try it, and after about a year, I was like, well, I guess I should probably take it out of the box to see if it works. And it made it all the way to the rack, and I still haven't turned it on. But I have tried some of the other preamps, and they're good. I expect it to be good. I just haven't had a chance to do it. Yeah, totally loud enough for live use. It's a totally like kind of a flat power amp. So it's kind of whatever you put into it is what's coming out of it. But it is loud enough, and it would be if you run 8 ohm cabs, it's going to be really loud enough. 16 ohm cabs, you can kind of feel that like it's trying, but it's still loud. I mean, it's too loud for to crank it to the max and be in the same proximity. But you know, oh, Class D for home, yeah, especially if you have the ability to squeak and EQ and stuff. Because for home, I'm just like I just want a lot of bass on my tone, like way too much. So I have some IRs that the big ass 412 IRs. They're really meant for like you want to just sit and play and enjoy big fat tone, like big, big booty. That's what I want at home. Oh, get out of town. This is Sal Dodger. ADA was making an MP1 pedal for a while. Yeah, I bought that. It was okay. That's the trick with putting the ADA MP1 into a module is the form factor. Like honestly, ADA MP1 with knobs isn't that cool. That was the problem with the pedal. It was like it wasn't exactly a one-to-one. It was kind of close. It wasn't. Perfect. So I sold it before. I didn't even make a video of it. I sold it, and then later I was like, I'll just get it again. And then all of a sudden they were like $600, $700 because they stopped making them. Really? I got to see when you're coming. The Trans Siberian Orchestra is coming to Los Angeles. I've never seen one of the shows, and I bet it would be spectacular. I know the guitars would be good. All right, all right. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, Giants have really been real rough lately, so you gotta go another direction. I feel you. How do the Freeman IR pedals and like the UA Lion, etc., respond to guitar volume knobs? I want to give them a try and make the occasional gig here. Words, running out of words. But I ride the volume constantly. I haven't tried the Lion. To be honest, I just wasn't that interested. I've heard it sounds good. I have plugins. They sound good. But the reason I wasn't interested is because I didn't want to have a pedal to just get back in as a plugin. Like, well, I'll just use the plugin. And then live, I'll use the like an IR X. So I would want the tubes. So the Friedman stuff, so it does respond really well to the volume knob. Just it's slightly different than an amp. So 100 watt, and I'm slowly sort of deciphering why. Like it's just a voltage thing. Like the amps are run at such a high voltage that like what that'll translate to is you can be cleaner, but also have more punch on the cleaner stuff. So you could get to cleaner, but it's still like big and alive. And then as you go down the realms here, where you go to like the IRX, or just it's still a high voltage preamp, but it's not running the same big ass power transformers and stuff as a 100 watt head. So that will do it, just not quite as well. And then you go down to like a pedal and then like a digital recreation stuff, and they just aren't doing it well. That said, I have a friend we're setting up next week, or shoot, is it this week? We're getting together to capture. He's big on volume knob, so we're capturing an amp he uses live all the time, where he just uses that amp and it's like full blast, and then he switches his neck pickup with down to like two, and he's fully clean. But he doesn't want to take the combo out anymore. So we're gonna see if we can do it. See if we can ToneX will do it, or anything will do it. But we'll see. It's awesome. It's like a Michael Bay movie with awesome guitars. Oh, sweet. I didn't do music for a living. What would I be doing? I would be would have been a teacher, like a history teacher is what I was gonna do. Yeah, I don't know. I did not know. Worked at a bank for a while. It's terrible because I'm really bad with numbers. So my vault was always slightly off. Sometimes it was up, sometimes it was down. So it kind of evened itself out. Not good what you want, not what you want in a bank, right? It's sometimes they're stealing your money and sometimes they're giving you money. It's called Vegas. I don't know if I could do video of that. Um, you may not want to. But you know, once get it figured out, then I'll maybe try and recreate the process and see if any of them work. I have a VP4, fractal VP4 that I'm trying to wrap my head around. The sounds in it are good. It's just the functionality of I equate it to this. Like every time they update the iPhone, like why did you do like so much stupid stuff? Windows within Windows and within Windows, and menus and menus. Like oh, it's just like nonsense at some point. When just I want a phone and then I want to go to the internet. Like can we just make that part easy and make it a flashlight? So some of the stuff where on these pedals, where that's where I think like a HX Stomp just has it so right. You go, I want that effect. Oh, and there's my preset, and I could jump on these pedals. And the next song, next preset, one button, gook. I don't have to go to like switch mode, switch preset, switch modes back to go to the pedal stomping mode. Like I can't think about all that stuff. Oh, I think we lived like parallel lives, Amanda. Mr. Hand. Fast Times. Such a good movie. Um, what kind of teacher would I be? I'd be like, kids, don't go to college. You'll waste your money. Then I'd be fired really quickly, you know. It is what it is. All right, gang. I think I need to go drink some tea and take Matt out. Uh, Appreciate you all coming and chatting. That's super cool always. I'll be back this upcoming week. Let's see, what do I have coming up this week? Here's my calendar. Fun videos or boring videos? There's a oh yeah, so I'm meeting to do the Saturday. Is today Saturday? Yeah, Saturday's Tuesday. I'm doing that, trying to figure out if we can make the volume roll off stuff. So that's cool. Filming a cool video this week. I have that headphone thing dropping on Thursday. That video. It's gonna be a boring video, but the product is great. So it's definitely worth checking out. Not that it's a boring video, but it's like how do you make a video about headphones or a headphone product? Because I, I can't put it on your ears, and everyone's gonna have. Well, I can't. There you go. I'm gonna have to figure out something else this week. Anyway, just talking out loud. All right, gang. Have a great weekend. There's going to be a good baseball game on tonight. If you want to watch, you know. Do I make patches for last question? Do I make patches for quad cortex? No, I don't, because let's say I made a patch and I was like, cool, I have this little pack, and then I'm like, cool, Gertha wants to buy it. You buy it. I can't automatically send it to you. I have to like, okay, okay, and please send me your email, and then I'll manually add you to my friends list in the app, and then manually. I can't manually do anything because you would never get your product ever. Uh, I would be like, oh look, Gertha sent me $5, and then I'd go back to sleep and then forget about it. You know, headphone recorder. I gotta see what this is all about. Interesting. Very nice. And that's also very cool. All right, gang. I gotta go cough. Thank you so much. Almost made it. Almost made it to the finish line. All right, now I'm going down. Thanks again. I will see you later.